My mom said I'm traumatizing her foster kids by not inviting them to my engagement. Dinner after my dad passed away 3 years ago, my mom started fostering kids. She called it part of her healing journey, and honestly, I got it. We were all grieving, and she needed something to pour herself into. Since then, she's fostered 12 kids. At the time this happened, she had 3 living with her: Arnold, Madison, and Jason, ages 5, 7, and 9. They're good kids, but they've been through a lot, and it shows in their behavior. When I got engaged to my fiancé, Nick, in January, my mom immediately started talking about including the kids in our engagement dinner. We were planning something small, just 20 guests at a cozy Italian place downtown, but she kept bringing it up. They could hand out appetizers, she said. Wouldn't they look adorable in little outfits? At first, I didn't respond much. I was still getting used to being engaged, let alone planning a party. But as the date got closer, she became fixated. She sent me TikToks of kids helping, at fancy events, Pinterest boards full of ideas. Meanwhile, I was just trying to make sure the restaurant was ready and that Nick's divorced parents wouldn't fight across the table. Here's what nobody seemed to understand. These kids don't handle boundaries well. Arnold has ADHD and can't sit still. Madison has severe attachment issues and clings to my mom nonstop. Jason struggles with anger. He literally smashed my mom's TV last month over screen time. Their therapist says they're making progress, but progress doesn't equal ready for a formal event. 2 weeks before the dinner, I gently suggested we make it adults only. I even offered to cover a babysitter so mom could actually enjoy herself. That's when everything blew up. Right there in the middle of Whole Foods, she burst into tears. She accused me of punishing traumatized kids and yelled, "You're making them feel rejected all over again." That wasn't true. These kids have visits with their bio families and a whole support system. I tried to explain that Nick and I wanted a calm, grown-up celebration. Having 3 unpredictable kids at a restaurant didn't feel like a celebration. Mom called me discriminatory and even said, "Your dad would be ashamed of how selfish you're being." That cut deep, because dad was always the peacemaker. Then the rest of the family jumped in. My aunt called me crying, saying I was cruel and mom deserved this after losing dad. My brother texted a long message about how fostering saved her life and that the least I could do was include the kids. Even my grandma left a voicemail. Family is about accepting everyone, no exceptions. But here's the thing. No one asked what I wanted. It was all about mom, her healing, and how this dinner could help the kids. Ever since dad died, the spotlight has been on her. When I reminded her that Nick and I chose that restaurant for its calm, romantic setting, she accused me of being elitist and said I'd regret not including the kids in core memories forever. Then 3 days before the dinner, she showed up at the restaurant during our walkthrough with all 3 kids. She started assigning them roles, where to stand, how to hand out champagne. Arnold immediately knocked over a glass of water. Madison cried because the lighting was too bright. Jason tried to yank the centerpiece off the table. Mom just smiled and said, "I thought we could do a quick practice run." The coordinator looked horrified as Arnold ran around screaming and Madison struggled with a tray. That's when I put my foot down. I told mom firmly the kids were not coming. This was an adults-only dinner, period. She cried again, saying I was re-traumatizing traumatized children and that they'd never trust adults again. But let's be honest, I'm not their mom or their therapist. She barely spoke to me the week of the dinner, showed up looking like she was at a funeral, hardly talked to anyone. Left early, saying Madison had anxiety from being excluded. During the toasts, when Nick's sister gave a beautiful speech about new beginnings, my mom just sat there stone-faced. But you know what? The night was exactly what Nick and I wanted. Peaceful, elegant, drama-free. No broken glasses, no screaming, no meltdowns. Just us celebrating our engagement with people who could sit through dinner without needing constant attention. Full story link below. Go and watch No.